Yo, sup ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the land of Jag. I'm your host, Jag, and this is Jag Game Plays. And today, we're going to be playing The Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening, Part 2, The Tail Cave Dungeon. Now let's roll the intro. Now, where we last left off in Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening, we were in the mysterious forest, and the mysterious owl told us to go to the Tail Cave Dungeon. Now, the fastest way to get through this portion of the forest is to use your shield and your magic powder. Now, the sword is only going to be able to attack the moblins and get 2 hits per attack, and magic powder is just going to be used quickly, and that's how they die quick, which is magic powder. You throw it on them, they burst into flames, and you can keep on moving, and that's how you get through quickly out of the mysterious forest. Now, if you are hurt or in critical condition and you're dying or you need some hearts, there are 3 bushes by the well, and if you cut and slash using your sword the 3 bushes, hearts will appear, and you can collect the hearts, and that's how you get full health again. And if you have a larger heart container up on the left corner and you need a bunch of hearts, you can continue coming back and forth to the 3 bushes until you get all the hearts that you need to be fully hearted. Now, the next thing you're going to need to do is jump in the well and die. Just kidding. You're not going to die. You're just going to fall in this little cave, and that is where you're going to find your first heart container, or heart piece that you need to make a heart container. And you need 4 pieces of hearts to make 1 heart container. So, yeah. And we're going to do a couple of errands before we get to the Tail Cave Dungeon. So, let's prep. Now we're going to grab our rakes and our hoes and get ready to slash and farm our way through grass and bushes to collect 300 rupees. Now, normally, there are 2 types of hearts in the section that we need to get. And one is in the tool shop and the other is in the trendy game. Now, you need money, and it's always great to have extra money because of the trendy game. It's a claw machine that, you know, can be a little bit tricky. And also, 200 rupees is a lot of rupees for a heart. So I think it'd be good to farm a bunch of rupees, maybe 300 rupees, and then you'll be able to do both. And that will help you move forward without worrying too much about, oh my gosh, I need to get more and more rupees. Also, when you're cutting around and slashing around with your sword, the bushes in between the tool shop and the trendy game, you're going to come across a secret seashell. Now, I believe there's about 150 secret seashells hidden all over Cahulan Island, 50 to get a secret surprise, spoiler alert, which is the Cahulan sword. And it's a very powerful sword that can pretty much kill enemies quickly without any worry, and it's an awesome weapon to get later down the road. So collect all the secret seashells, and we will do that in due time. But for now, let's keep going and grabbing those 2 heart containers that we need. Now, the best way for me or for anyone to pretty much farm in this area is to pretty much cut all the bushes that you need and all the rupees, and then go around the tool shop and go back to the field, and they will reappear. All the bushes and grass will respawn, and you just keep cutting and cutting and cutting and get all the rupees. Now, there will be dropped like green rupees and blue rupees. The green rupees are pretty much just 1 rupee, that's just $1. And the blue rupees are 50 rupees, which is 50 bucks basically. And so, pretty much keep doing this repeatedly until you get at least 300 rupees, and then we can proceed forward. Now that we have 315 rupees, we can now go to the tool shop and grab that heart piece, and also go to the trendy game and grab the heart piece from playing the claw machine game for 10 rupees. That's how much it is to play the claw machine, 10 rupees. Pretty much trying to figure out the claw machine, the best way to play the claw machine is pretty much to try and follow the bottom shadow of the claw. As it's going over the item that you want, you can then grab that item. Now, the only way to move is per one move. So if you're moving forward, that's just one move. And if you're moving right, that's just one move. You can only move forward and right, but only once. So the longer you hold it is the longer much time that you're going to reach the item that you need, and hence forward. Now sometimes the platforms are going to be moving, and you're going to need to be precise and on time to allow the platform to get exactly where you want it, so that the claw machine can pretty much grab the item that you need. Now, if you're wondering or curious as to how many hearts you have, you can visit your item bag. Visiting your items bag every time you get an item is important because you can see all the things you have, and also you can check on how many hearts you need to get a full heart container. You can see how many magic powders you have, how many bombs you have, and that can help you prepare for later on for more dangerous dungeons and more dangerous creatures and stuff like that. So be prepared is always great in Legend of Zelda, because that way you have everything you need, so you won't have to pretty much worry too much about what you don't have. You have everything in your items bag. Now we're going fishing. That's right. Our goal here is just to grab a small fish. You don't need to worry about a big fish or anything right now. Just grab one fish. You can go ahead and grab the medium fish if you want. But no matter what, you're going to get 2 hearts from the fish. And, because you don't have the proper lure right now to grab bigger fish, it can be a bit hard and you can lose money or rupees. But, hey, go for it if you want to. But right now, just capture a little small fish, and that's how you get your very next heart piece. Now, some of you are probably pros at fishing in Legend of Zelda, but some of you are probably not. So the best way to do this is pretty much hold A as long as you can, and just launch the lure all the way to the side of the pond, and let it sink down, and then keep reeling it in. That's how you can capture a lot of the fish. The best way to pull on a fish is pretty much allow it to kind of go, and then pull, let it go, and then pull again, and keep doing that till you get the fish, especially if it's a tougher fish. But, if you're really good at it and natural at it, you're going to be able to capture fishes, no problem. Unlike me, a couple of fish got away, just like this one. You see what I mean? The fish here are vicious, and they're fighting. Be ready for a fight when it comes to these fishes. So, yeah. Also, we're going to go ahead and fish out an empty jar. It's like, why a glass jar? Why an empty glass jar? Well, it's because later on, in Legend of Zelda, we're going to be capturing some fairies. And they're these little pixie creatures. When you touch them, your heart containers increase fully. And sometimes, like when you are in a dungeon or a cave, there's no fairy fountains around. That's it. You're trapped in this dungeon, and you have to find a way to survive a dungeon. So it's always great to have an empty jar in hand so you can capture a fairy, and then when you're in need of it, release the fairy, and it will increase your hearts all the way to how many hearts you have at the time, and that's how you do that. So we're going to capture some fairies, so in order to do that, fish out that empty jar in the fish pond. Now, as I said before, the medium fish are very, very, very challenging to catch, especially if your lure isn't strong enough. You need a bigger and better lure. Now, in Legend of Zelda, you can get better lures and better rods, too, so you can capture fish a lot more easier and faster, too. But right now, all I have is a small lure, so the big fish or the medium fish that you need in order to get the next heart is pretty much needed. It's going to test your fishing skills and the level you have right now. So do your best, and it might escape, but come back and repeat until you get yourself a medium fish. Now, as a reward, you get a medium heavyweight lure, or a medium weighted lure, and that comes in useful because sometimes later on in Legend of Zelda you're going to come across other fish ponds, and sometimes you need heavy weighted lures to drop your lures all the way down to the bottom of the water so you can get the better fish down later on in the game. So lures are awesome, and that's awesome that we get our very first medium weighted lure, and also we get that heart container from capturing that medium fish. Now, as you can see, on the top left corner, you can see that we now have 4 hearts. And that was because we collected the 4 pieces during this errand. And also we have a new extra heart for an upcoming full container down the road as well. So, yeah, other than that, I think we're done with doing some errands. And we can now go to the Tail Cave dungeon. Now with the errands done, we go all the way down to that sign where it says Tarambo Beach or Tail Cave. That's where we're going, to the Tail Cave. And we're going to go all our way, and we're going to fight some monsters, use our shoot to block the stones that they spit out of their mouths, and cut away, block, cut away, block, cut away, until we get to the keyhole, or the Tail Cave keyhole. Also, just a reminder, save your progress as soon as you get all the hearts you need, all the fish, all the items that you need. Just save your progress, because you might die, and then you might have to go back and do it all over again. So just save often, as much as you can. Also, side note, if you're struggling on finding like a certain location or a certain place, go visit your map. You just press the little minus button on your controller, and it will give you that map. And you can find all the places that you have been, or pretty much have not yet visited, but you can pretty clearly much see as the game progresses and grows in process, you can see all the stuff that is revealed, and you can find these different locations and spots. Now, all you need to do is enter the key, and unlock the entrance to the dungeon, and go inside. Now let's congratulate ourselves for coming to our very first dungeon, the Tail Cave dungeon. Be excited, be happy, you got this far, so far, and that's great. So let's beat this dungeon together. Let's do it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the left, and there's going to be a room on the left. And in this room, we're going to come across a kind of long hallway corridor, and there's going to be pitfalls on the sides, and there's going to be creatures, these hard-shelled creatures. Very easy to defeat. All you need to do is grab your shield and bounce them away off the ledge, and that's how you beat them. You can even use your sword to bounce them away, but the problem with using your sword, though, is that when you hit them, you're going to bounce back, too, a little bit farther than them, because they're really, really strong with the sword. So use the shield if you can, and push them off over the ledge, and once you do that, a key will drop, and that will be your first small key. Now that we got our first small key, we're going to go ahead into the next room moving forward. That's pretty much the room on the left. And yeah, just be ready to grab your shield, because there's going to be some kind of flame light torches that start throwing flame balls at you, or balls of fire at you, and you need to be ready and block these fireballs from attacking you. Not only that, but you gotta also attack the green slimes that are in the room. But once you defeat the green slimes in the room, the flames will stop, and you can go ahead and open the chest, and in this chest is gonna be a compass. Now, the cool thing about the compass is that it has this function. Basically, whenever you're near a key or a chest nearby, it starts pretty much vibrating on cue, and that gives you a little signal that, oh, there's a key nearby. Now, why is this important? Because some of the keys in Legend of Zelda are hidden, and there's a lot of secrets in Legend of Zelda. It's not just that type of game where, oh yeah, there's a chest here, but wait a minute, it's saying that there's a key, but where's the key at? I don't see anything around here of a chest. Well, that's because the compass kind of gives you an idea, and you can come back later on and use a certain item to find that key later down the road, especially when you have more abilities or more items. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back all the way to the entrance of the dungeon where we first entered the cave. And instead of going left, we're going to go forward, north. And just be prepared, because we're going to come across a red slime and also a hard-shelled creature. But these are very easy to defeat. Just kill the red slimes with your sword, and also use your shield to bounce the hard-shelled creatures off into the ledge. And then after that, you step on the little platform switch, and a treasure chest will appear after that. And, you know, after that, you open the chest, and it's going to be another small key inside. Now the next thing you're going to do is go to the right of the room, the next room, and you're going to come across a Stelphos and also some bats. The bats are pretty much easy to defeat. Now the Stelphos can be pretty tricky because they kind of jump a lot. That's kind of the thing. They jump and you can't attack them while they're jumping in the air. They're kind of like cowards. But keep pushing them to the wall and they won't be able to jump back. And you can keep slashing them with their sword, and that's how you take out the Stelphos and turn them into dust. Now after defeating the bats and the Stelphos, a chest will appear, and in this chest is going to be the map of this dungeon, and that's going to be able to help you find the nightmare room and the nightmare key also, and other stuff too along the way. So yeah, now with your map in handy and your compass in hand, you're going to be able to find all the things, all the chests, all the keys that you need, all the secrets that you need down the road. The cool thing about the map in the dungeon is that you can use markers to pinpoint certain parts of the dungeon, and it can help you find that point and that spot. So those are always great to have markers on maps and stuff like that to help you figure out where to go, where you need to be, and how you need to get there. Now on the map, there is a purple-looking monster. This monster pretty much signifies a nightmare room. And in Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, the bosses of the dungeon are called nightmares. Pretty much nightmares. They're nightmare bosses. Now the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be seeing some sparks. Now these are very interesting characters because they move around all over the same spot. You can't touch them, you can't use your shield on them, they can't be touched or hurt. They'll hurt you badly. So the best thing you need to do is find a way to have the best timing in order for you to open the chest that the spark is going around. Now that you got a small key, we're going to go head to the left and we're going to kill the little Moldorm that is there. We're going to defeat it, eliminate it, end it, and a chest is going to appear. Now this chest, when you open it, is going to reveal a red rupee. Now a red rupee is only $20 basically, 20 rupees, that's all it is. But still, it's money, and money's important in Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. Now going down the room, there are some crystal-like pieces that you can smash through, and in this room are some bats. You kill the bats and all the doors will open, the door on the where you came from and the door on the right. We're going to go back through the door and into the room where we came from, and then keep going forward. Now, but be careful, because there is a spiky rolling creature that will block you off into the ledge. And yeah, but survive it and unlock the door and get to the other side. Once again, we're going to let the sparks go by this little room, and as soon as they pass by, we're gonna pretty much cross through, kill the red slimes that are in here, and then go over to the other side. We can go over to see a owl statue. Owl statues are pretty much hints that they give you in the game, but you can't really pretty much read the language because you can't understand it. You need a stone beak, and you can get the stone beak in this dungeon too. But for now, we're gonna go down to the block right next to the end of the door and push it to the right, and the door is gonna open, and that's how we're gonna enter the next room. Now, every dungeon has an owl, so just letting you know, there's going to be hints all over the dungeon once you find the stone beak, and they can be rather helpful. Now there's going to be some new creatures. They're like hard-shelled creatures, but they have spikes on them. Now you're going to use your shield as they're coming at you, about to rampage right into you, and they're going to bounce off your shield and on their hard shells. And then you can use your sword to pretty much slash away and kill them. And once you do that, a little staircase is going to appear, and you can go down the staircase and into a basement. Once you go into the basement, we're going to see Goombas. That's right, another reference to Nintendo's Super Mario Brothers characters. And that's pretty awesome that they feature that in the game. The villains from the Mario series are in Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. we're going to go through a hallway with a flying heart. We can't get that heart yet, but what we need to do is go through the long hallway and use our shield to block through the double-sided spike-rolling creatures and get to the other side. We open the chest and we will get the rock's feather. That's right, the rock's feather. And this will be used to jump over obstacles, and you can flip in the air and jump over like pits and jump over spots, jump over enemies, jump on enemies. That's right, if you jump on a Goomba, for example, it drops a heart, and you can use that to heal yourself. So it's very useful, especially because now Link can jump over spaces and parts in the game without really having to worry about going around it or through it. He just jumps over it, no problem. Also, make sure you equip the weapon of the rock's feather on one of the X or Y buttons so you know it comes in hand. It's important to have these abilities in hand because they're very important to use. So you can flip, use your shield, and use your sword. But you can only use 2 slots of those melee type weapons, such as the X and Y button. So right now on the X, I have the magic powder, and on the Y, I have the rock's feather. But that's going to change as we progress through the game, and you can have different abilities down the road. But it's pretty much easy to go to the item bags and switch the different abilities down the road too. So very easy. Just make sure you put it on one of the X or Y buttons so it's easier for you to use as you're playing. Do is we're going to come down into the basement and flip through the basement of where we came from, but just do the rock's feather flip over and over and over and over the ledges and go up the stairs and get to the next room. We're going to go all the way back down, and then as soon as we go back down, we're going to come across the a kind of a corner where there's a Stalfos. You can kill the Stalfos. They go around inside around this area and block it off into the pit, jump over, and then unlock the little block with the key inside. Once you unlock the block, you can go up the stairs and open the chest, and that is how you can get the nightmare key within the chest. Now you're going to run, flip, and unlock the door all the way to the bottom. The next thing you're going to do is we're going to go to another room. In this room, there's going to be like card-like creatures that have different shapes on their bellies. You have to match all 3 shapes to match one another. That's how you kill the enemies here and unlock the next chest. And the chest that is opened in this room is the stone beak. Now you can use the stone beak on the owl statue just to show you what I mean by the tips that the owl gives you. In this case, it tells you that you can use your shield to bounce the hard-shelled creatures on their bellies and then use a sword. So it's something very uncommon for some first players, but if you're new to the game and you don't know, use the owl statues and they'll give you those hints. Now we will fight the mini-boss. The mini-boss is known as Crossbones. He's pretty much this pink, bubblegum-like creature that rolls his log spike. Very easy to defeat. All you have to do is jump over the log as soon as it gets close to you, and then start slashing away with your sword, the mini-boss, over and over and over. I think you can get like 3 or 4 hits right off the bat, and do it again repeatedly. I think it takes 8 hits to kill this Crossbones mini-boss. And after that, a portal will open. You can use the portal to warp all the way to the entrance of the dungeon and then back to the same room. And also you can go and use your empty jar that you have and collect the fairy there. All you have to do is just swipe the jar and it'll tell you, oh, Link caught a fairy, and it'll show you. And that's how you know you have a fairy. And you can unleash it whenever you want, and it can heal you fully. lead into the nightmare boss. But before that, there is a basement staircase that you can go down, and at the very end, there are 3 hearts flying in the air. You can use those 3 hearts to heal yourself. Now we're gonna block the rolling spike creatures, unlock the nightmare key door, and unlock it and enter it, and we're gonna face our very first nightmare boss, the Moldorm, or Moldorm. Moldorm is not a hard boss at all. The only drawback to this boss is that he can push you off the ledge, and then you have to start over the battle again. But you don't die if you fall off into the pit. You end up in the basement where the 3 flying hearts are. That's where you end up, and you can just climb back up the stairs, open the door, and fight Moldorm again. But the best way to defeat Moldorm is use your shield and put your back against the door, and Moldorm won't be able to push you because you're going back against the door. And whenever you see the red tail at the end, you slash at it. If you slash the tail 3 times, you kill Moldorm. Now all you have to do now is go forward into the next room, and this is where we will find the full moon cello. And pretty much you need all 8 instruments of the sirens in order to awake the windfish. He's that giant egg on top of the island. And that is pretty much it for The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening Part 2 Tail Cave Dungeon. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching this video. Please leave a like on the video. It support me very much for my video gaming channel. Also subscribe. It will be awesome if you do. And share the video too. And also comment below, who is your favorite villain character in this game, partner. And thank you guys very much for watching this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Mwah!